Brampton, Ontario are looking for a group of men who attacked a Punjabi media personality in his own driveway. Security video shows 3 assailants dragging the man out of his car. Joti Singh Mann was badly beaten just days after receiving a death threat. As Sean O'Shea reports, this isn't the first attack within the community this year.
The video is difficult to watch. The man in the Jeep on his driveway in Brampton, Ontario, approached by 3 masked men armed with an axe and machete. They drag him out and beat him repeatedly. The brutal attack captured on a home security camera.
When I saw the video, it was so shocking for me.
Neighbors watched it later online. We've blurred the graphic images, but the man's mother saw it all unfold.
So they came, she's saying they were here to kill him, and he grabbed one of the weapons, but they overpowered him, obviously with 3 of them, and then one of them grabbed the legs and continued to hack away at his foot.
She ran to her son to help and may have saved his life.
Yeah, and boy, was his mother a hero. What courage she showed.
She ran out. It was a pure reaction on her part, and it certainly helped contribute to him still being here today.
Joti Singh Mann is well known here, a local real estate agent and prominent Punjabi media personality. Police confirmed he'd received a death threat on the phone days earlier.
A safety plan was put in place with the victim at the time that the death threat was reported to us.
But Mann didn't receive police protection in time. The mayor says Mann's family has asked for help again after the attack.
When the attack happened, I got a call from the family who wanted protection from the police.
Police are still investigating motive, but this is the 3rd physical attack in the last year on people who work in the media in Brampton.
Question how safe our media personalities are in giving the news and, giving commentary as well.
For now, police are left trying to assure the community it was a targeted attack. Police say additional video may solve this case, and so they've appealed to neighbors to check their dash cams. For now, Joti Singh Mann remains in hospital with serious and life-changing injuries. Sean O'Shea, Global News, Brampton, Ontario.
What's happening? What's good? What's going on? Part of my presence YouTube channel. I want to discuss this video that you're watching here. It's the video of an attack. Okay, there was a man that was attacked in Brampton. Brampton is a city just on the outskirts of Toronto. Brampton has pretty much a life of its own, and it has a reputation of its own as well too, which is not a really good one. There's a lot of issues with crime, a lot of issues with fraud, poor traffic, and other issues, right? But I won't even get into all of those details. That's not the reason why I'm pretty much doing a video about this, okay? But just to get into some detail here, this man was attacked or hacked and attacked by 3 masked unknown assailants. And the surprising thing about this video was not that he was attacked by what appears to be a couple of axes and a machete, or depending on where you're from, a machete, but there's all kind of things that are going on here. And this guy was attacked. He was pulled out of his Jeep, and he's trying to escape them, and he's pretty much attacked throughout. And they put him onto the ground, and they're attacking him even more. And this is in broad daylight on his driveway. So in other words, they came up to him, took him out of the car, and did this to him. They didn't care who was at home, if his family was present. None of that really mattered to them. They were just there, in my opinion, to finish him off or pretty much get rid of him, right? But the shocking thing about this video was the fact that out of all of the things that were done to this man, and all of what looks like the intent to end his life, this guy survived. Not only did he survive this attack, it doesn't seem like he has any injuries, to the point where, he's completely, unrecognizable, or reconstructive surgery. None of those things. From what I understand, and according to the news report, he has some life-changing or life-altering injuries, which I suspect is probably something to do with his foot. He may have to get some type of amputation on his foot. Who knows? But considering how it looked and the weapons used, this man is lucky, right? And kudos to who I thought was the wife at some point, but actually was his mother, that came out and surprisingly and shockingly, the mother scared 3 guys with the machetes and axes away, which is crazy in its own right. Okay, but the thing about this is a 50-year-old man, and this is what's happening to him by people who appear to be from either the same community or of the same group of people, whether it's a Punjabi group or Sikh group or whatever the case may be. But I believe he is from India, the victim, and his attackers might be as well too. And I'll tell you why I say that, because allegedly there's some stories about why this actually occurred. Now, this man's name is Joti Singh Mann, and as the news story mentioned, he is a prominent figure in Brampton, or in his community, and he is a real estate agent. He's a known businessman, but he also has a podcast. Okay, so he's definitely a prominent figure, but he's also a figure that is very vocal on things. And apparently, according to what was posted somewhere online, I'm not going to say where, but it was posted somewhere online, where apparently what they're trying to say is that this attack occurred because of something that he said on his podcast. Okay, apparently he made comments regarding the government in India and his disdain on how certain things or policies are run. And although he's in Canada making these statements many miles away, there are still ramifications for things that he's saying, because apparently on the podcast, people called in and made death threats towards him. And this seems to be the end result of all of those things that transpired from his podcast. And also, when you might be thinking, well, why are you covering this? It's nothing to do with you. This is not your community. You don't know anything about this, and that, and the third. And yeah, you're right. I'm not part of that community. I don't have the inside scoop per se on this. But I am someone who does cover stories like this. And I am someone who is from the same country and is also close enough to this area where I have a right to cover it if I want to, right? But the reason why I bring this story up is because I think it's important that we highlight that these types of conflicts, violence, crime, and aggression and death threats and all the dysfunction that we saw in this video, in this story, it could happen to any community. Many times you see on the news, and a lot of times the impression is that only black people are committing crimes. Black people's family household is dysfunctional. There's a lot of negative stereotypes attached to black people, and depending on where you look for your news sources or your information, you might feel that that's all you see of us. And I think it's important that when these types of stories appear, that we also highlight it, not to take pleasure into what's happening, because I would never take pleasure in this story. This is a heinous act, and I wish this guy a speedy recovery. But I think it's important to show that this is not a black problem, because we are all human, and therefore we all succumb to human nature, right? So when it comes to human nature, we're all flawed. There's conflicts, violence, we're susceptible to crime, gangs, all of those things, right? Intercultural issues and relations and stigmas. See, when you're on the outside looking in, a lot of people, when they're on the outside looking in other cultures, and all they see is the positive things, all they see is the success stories, but you don't know enough, or you don't know the inner workings of that community. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because they might not tell you, or they don't give a platform to that type of negativity that you usually see certain entities or corporations give that platform to the black community to highlight and promote that negativity, right? So again, there's so many issues within other cultures and other communities, and you may not be aware of it. Okay, so I just bring this up to highlight the fact that violence, crime, conflict, dysfunction is prevalent in all communities, all ethnicities, anywhere. So I just want to bring it up, and you let me know how you feel about this, whether you agree or disagree with what I have to say. Again, I don't want to see no death threats in my comments. Don't bring that shit around me. That's for the birds. I want to hear that. Again, I just bring this up to kind of highlight the fact that these things can happen anywhere, to any group of people, in any city, any town, because these things are part of human nature. Conflict, violence, dysfunction. People, you don't know what they're dealing with, right? We're all humans. We all have adversities that we have to overcome, depression, and so many other different things that play a part in all of this, right? So that's just what I want to highlight and bring forward, so that you can see with your own eyes how other people get down. They're not any better or any worse than anybody else. We're all the same. Okay, so you let me know how you feel. Part of my presence YouTube channel. Until next time, next move, best move. Peace.